Hey everybody, welcome to Remedius Board Gaming. Thank you for tuning in. This video is our second game in the Legacy of You campaign. If you'd like to see what happened in our first game, I'll put a link up at the top of the video now. But anyway, I won't drag this out any longer, let's jump straight into the game. Okay, so it's game 2, round 1, and I've already gone and grabbed our 3 resources there. So let's see what 4 cards we start off with. So unfortunately the only card that we have that can tuck for a white worker is this guy who gives us a double blue. I don't think I want to tuck him just yet, so we're going to save him for now. These are the other 3 cards we've got. I think I'm going to try a different strategy this time. So we're going to tuck him, turn 1, down here. That's going to give us an extra provision and shell every round going forward. So yeah, see how that goes. Next thing, we are going to grab our freebie and chuck them straight into our exhaust pile. Now, to deal with this barbarian, obviously we don't have 2 black and 1 yellow, so we're going to have to bribe him. Fortunately, we've got enough provisions here saved up, so we're going to have to pay the provision cost down there as a bribe. Interestingly, he comes with a bit of a story time, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what goes on there. Speaking of story times, we got this guy in game 1. Now, sadly for him, his home was destroyed through our work in creating all of these canals. I think what the story said was, you know, we had diverted some water to an area and unfortunately his home was flooded and now he has no home to go back to. So we've actually enlisted him. He's joined our crew, or he's joined our village, I guess, and he will be a potential recruit for us. So hopefully we can enlist him at some point soon. You know, that double word will be super handy if we can get our hands on it. So next thing, we are just going to exhaust all 3 of these. That's going to give us 2 provisions, a shell, and a blue. Not much else we can do. So as always, if you can, you should do these actions here on the board, and that's going to give us another provision. I think I will recruit some of these guys. I might leave him for a while until he gets a bit cheaper. I think I will pay the 2 for... No, I'll pay the 2 for this one. That's going to go into our exhausted pile. And I'm going to pay 1 more. I think we'll grab this one. So that's 1 more for them. And that's the end of our action phase. So now we need to suffer attacks. So we're going to pay 1 provision to bribe off that barbarian. Cheers, mate. All right, so now we refresh. So these guys move down. He moves over 1. We add 1 more barbarian. Okay, more yellow and black. I mean, that's kind of good. It means we can sort of focus for a while. I think it's more difficult when you've got a spread of colors earlier in the game because you don't really have an engine yet to work towards any of those worker color costs that you need. So fingers crossed that works out for us. Okay, so that is the refresh done. Back to the top of the round for a second harvest. So we get this guy back. Now we get 1 worker, get 2 shells, 2 provisions. Now 4 cards. Beautiful. Okay. That's what we want to see. Double black and a yellow. Thank you, Grandma. I don't know if you remember from our last playthrough, but I believe it was this card here. Unfortunately, had to be sacrificed to the raiding barbarians. I'm actually quite a big fan of the art of this card. I don't know what she's holding. Maybe a sickle or an axe. Maybe some sort of scythe. But yeah, I think that weapon is pretty cool. Or it might be a tool. Who knows? I also just like the jewelry she's wearing in general. It's pretty cool. So let's just set aside this white worker and this 1 provision to save as bribes for these 2 for now. Okay, I don't like discarding cards this early in the game. Let's just grab our freebie. Okay, we're going to exhaust this one and get a white worker. That's going to give us the resources for the canal. Let's just do the canal for now. So 2 white workers, 2 shells. Thankfully, we don't have to sacrifice any of our townsfolk when we build the level 1, level 2 canals, at least in this point in the campaign, so happy about that. We get a clay and a wood. So I've got a few more provisions here. You know what? I think we can hold off on the barbarians for now. They will continue coming. That we're only going to add one more, each time until we build more canals. And I think maybe by then we'll have a better engine to deal with the number of workers that we need to pay them off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exhaust all three of these cards. So 2 provisions, black and yellow. Right. We are going to pay 2 provisions and get these 2 into our exhausted pile and hope for the best that they come out in the next round. Think that's gonna be it. We're gonna go there, get 1 more provision, and I think I'm gonna call it for action. So now we're gonna suffer attacks. So 1 provision and 1 white worker. That deals with the bribes for these 2. All right, so refresh. Okay, more yellow, and we are going to be needing some more blue. Back to the top of the round for another harvest. We get that guy back. We get our 4 cards. So 1, 2. We shuffle this, which means the flood token moves down 1 space. 3 and 4. That goes there. This moves down 1. Forgot to put this guy back after the action phase ended. It doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to grab all of our stuff now. 1 white worker, 2 provisions, 2 shells. Okay, let's have a look at what cards we've got. Perfect. Another black. That'll give us enough to deal with him. A lot more provisions. We can start hiring more cards. I also like that too. Do we build the canal now? Well, we've got enough stuff to do it. Let's just see. Black and yellow at bottom. We've also got a wood shell combo as well. Let's just deal with the barbarian first. So I'm going to exhaust this card for a black worker, but I'm not going to bother grabbing it. We're just going to get rid of another black and a yellow and pay the 2 provisions, and that sorts him out. Okay, so as a reward we get a story time. Let's see what happens. The cheers of victory were still ringing in our ears when a hush fell over the battlefield. The fight appeared to be over, but then something stirred in the dust and blood. A brute of a man who had fought to overcome our forces, blood streaming down his side, was rising. Staggering to his feet, his sword still in his hand, he turned back towards our men, lifted his head, and tightened the grip on his hilt. Ready for more. Okay, so it says here, file the defeated barbarian card in the box under history, and then find card 36 in the story deck and place it face up into the space where the defeated barbarian was sitting. Oh, okay. This guy comes back for round 2, I guess. Card 36, wow. Haha, this is pretty cool. Look at this. So that's him before the battle. And this is him now. So he's being roughed up a little bit. We thought we knocked him down, but he keeps getting back up for more, I guess. So look at his face. Oh, wow, he's got a wound down on his side as well. Oof, not good, mate. Oh, and he has more story times. So, okay. We haven't seen the last of him, at least not yet. That kind of backfired. Oh, he only needs a black and a yellow this time. So quite an expensive barbarian here. It's taken 5 workers to kill him. I wonder if there are other barbarians in this game who, require more than that. Oh, we've also lost the option of bribing him with provisions. We now have to lose townsfolk cards to bribe him. So yeah, that's gonna hurt, I think, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get another yellow and black this quickly. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so another look at our hand. This is what we've got. I think we will deal with the canal for now. So we're going to exhaust him, get a white worker. So that gives us 2 white workers, 2 shells. That's done. We get a clay and a wood and another story time. So let's see what happens. Disaster. The new canal to the east of our camp was nearing completion. Storms have been assailing us like the horrible breath of a dragon, forever slowing our progress. The men have become weary. I have become focusing on completing this work with such intent that I allowed carelessness to creep in. A short break in the torrent provided us only a moment to proceed. While I was overseeing the last reinforcement on the canal, I received word from camp that a fire had broken out and part of our camp was ablaze. With so many hands away at the canal, the fire raged like a beast, and despite valiant efforts from those still close by, a scorched mess is all that remains of our food store and the tents surrounding it. Food will be scarce now. We had been foraging heavily to feed the workers and keep everyone strong. A concentrated and extended effort will need to be made to restore what was lost. A fool may take some solace in stories coming from the camp that this was the work of Mizuki, the monkey demon of the river. I think I will put my energy into figuring out how to restore our food supply rather than chasing spirits. The burden of this oversight will hang over me for a long time, not unlike the storm clouds that now gather once again. At least the canal is done. Okay, so it says here, file the completed canal card in the box under history, and then find card 16 in the story deck and place it alongside the board with the side shown below face up. This is a food shortage card. Okay, so this is the back of card 16. Kind of looks like a food store. And this is what it says. Now, I've read through the rules and it kind of works like a mini game in a way. What we need to do is pay cards from our hand and place them on top of this. Now, we don't get any of the rewards from playing the card normally, like when you would exhaust it. Ultimately, it's like discarding the card for these reasons. We need to pay 3 cards. They have to be in this order. And the first one needs to have a milk tag. The second card needs to have a fish tag. And the third card needs to have a meat tag. Now, when we satisfy these conditions, we'll also get another story time. This also stops us from getting a victory. So if we don't complete this, but we do manage to construct all 6 of the canals and survive the round, we'll lose the game. So it's made it a whole lot harder. We will need to sacrifice 3 cards from our hands for this, and they need to have the right tags, and they need to come to us in the right order, because we need to start with milk, then fish, then meat. So it shouldn't be too difficult. I think it's a fun spin on the standard play loop that we have here already. I just hope it doesn't come back to bite us in the butt right at the end, you know, by not quite getting the meat tag right at the end or something like that. So I guess we'll see what happens. So moving forward, what have we done? We tried to battle this barbarian. Didn't work, he came back from the dead. And we've now built another canal here, revealing that we need to add a second barbarian to the top now, which means we need to make 2 more spaces for cards in the top row. So we'll grab our freebie in there. We will also spend 1 provision to get that guy. So now there's enough room for the barbarians, and we won't be losing any of our townsfolk cards. So we've got these things here. We don't have a white worker, so we cannot build a farm or an outpost just yet. That's why the white worker comes in handy early in the game, because we would have access to these probably already. Okay, so we're just going to exhaust both of these cards and get all the stuff. So 3 provisions and a shell. Okay, so let's think about our bribes. We've got a wood for that one. We don't have a white worker there, and we're going to have to lose a card there. Not off to a good start already. So, okay, let's do that. We're going to get our provision. You know what? I'm going to pay the 3 provisions, add these 2 guys into our exhaust pile, just to sort of keep the workforce flowing, and we're going to call it a day. End of the action phase. Large returns to the board. Now we suffer attacks, so that's 1 wood. Now we lose 2 townsfolk cards, so 1 and 2. Let's see who we lost. Double black and a yellow. They would have come in handy, so that's a pity. But hey, we've come this far before we've actually lost a card, so that's already better than game 1. Not too mad. Alright, so refreshing now. So 1, 2, okay, and let's just fill up this. Alright, so back to the top of another round. Let's do our harvest. 4 cards, 1 white worker, 2 provisions, 2 shells. So these are the cards we've got. We don't have access to black and yellow again, and we don't have any black or yellow at the bottom of our cards. We do, however, have access to red and white workers. We don't really need to worry about provisions or shells right now. We're kind of sorted on that front. So I think we consider making a farm. I think that's what we're going to do. Farm is going to be 1 white worker, 1 wood, and 1 clay. That lets us build one of these. We're going to take the any color worker for our farm, and we're going to place him there as well. I think we're going to go with that one because it'll give us another worker. So that means we're going to take a blue worker for this, and I'm going to exhaust that card for a red. So now we have 1 blue from playing this farm, another blue and a red here, and we're going to pay the 3 provisions. So 1, 2, 3, and this lady right here with the awesome bow is no more. So we get a shell and a white worker in return. Now we've actually got enough resources to build a second farm, and I think we're going to do that. So I'm going to convert 3 shells into a wood. That's going to give us a white worker, a clay, and a wood. And we're going to go with the white worker here, and we're going to add it up here, and that's going to give us a provision. So we've finally got our second white worker going there. We'll grab our freebie, and we will pay 1 provision for this guy here and add her to our exhausted pile. Now we are cutting it close. We're going to be adding 2 more barbarians. We've only got 3 spots available, so we're going to have to try and pull some magic in this next one. Just the cards in our hand just aren't really optimal right now. I would love to discard them all if it meant we got more workers. Maybe I should discard her just to get the double. I think I will. Thank you for your service, milady. 2 white workers for her. And we're just going to exhaust these 2 for a shell and 2 provisions. So we're going to go here. That's going to give us another provision. Oh, I forgot about bribes. So 2 shells for him. Oh, 1 white worker there. We don't have a wood. You know what? I wasn't thinking about that clearly. I'm going to put this over here instead. Put that provision back and get a shell back. That's going to give us 2 shells there. We can swap 3 shells for a wood. We've got the white worker there. So the only bribes we're going to have to suffer is losing a card for him. Okay, that guy is a right pain in the butt. All right, that's the end of the action phase. So suffering attacks, 2 shells, 1 wood, 1 white worker, and 1 card lost. Oh no! It's the double wood guy. First we destroy his home by flooding it, by building all these canals, and now he just gets slaughtered by the guy who wouldn't bloody rest. That's a pity. Alright, well, thank you very much, mate. Okay, so now it's time to refresh. So we're going to bump these guys down 1 more. And we add 2 more barbarians. And we only get 1 of these. Back at the top of the next round, so we get our 4 cards. We get this white worker back. Alright, so let's have a look at our cards first. Okay, great. We have a black, and we can get a yellow from our farm. So that helps us with the barbarian who just killed our old man with the beard. What else do we have? We could tuck this guy to gain an extra card. I tried this last game, and I'm not sure if it was that good, to be honest. Although we haven't even built a hut yet, so we can't even tuck a second card. Okay, so now we get 2 white workers. We also get 2 shells and 2 provisions. And we can take any color except for white, and we're going to grab a yellow. So first things first, we will exhaust this card to get a black worker. Now we've got the black and yellow needed for the barbarian. Okay, 1 provision, and now we can hopefully say goodbye to this guy for good, and it's another story time. So let's see. A shout of triumph, cheers of victory. The enemy was falling back, their champion finally falling to our own brave fighters. We thought he would never go down again, but this time he wasn't getting back up. We made sure of it. Okay, so it says here, file the defeated barbarian card in the box under history, gain 1 wood, 1 clay, and 2 shells. Okay, so he is gone. Took 2 goes, but hey, we made it. And we get a wood, a clay, and 2 shells. Right, so what else can we do? Oh, it's not looking good. To survive, we would need to be able to stop one more of these barbarians. We can discard this guy for 2 blue, and that would help us with these 2. Alright, so I think our next move is to build this canal here, because I know the action underneath it allows us to do this trade here. So that's what we're going to do and hope for the best. So 3 white workers and 2 shells. Now that gives us a clay and a wood, but we have to sacrifice 2 of our townsfolk cards. And to be honest, I think it's going to be worth it. We get our clay and wood. Now we have to lose 2 cards, and that means shuffling this deck. Okay, so these are the 2 that we will lose, and this also moves down. Now let's see who we've lost. I mean, the red worker might come back to haunt us later in the game, not sure. I mean, losing cards in general is bad. I can't tell if that was a huge loss or not, but hey, we'll see what happens. So now we're actually going to discard both of these cards. That's going to give us 2 blue, a white, and 2 provisions. Alright, now we're going to do this action here and trade 1 white worker and 1 provision for... We're going to grab a yellow. Okay, so now we have the 2 blue and yellow, and we pay the 2 provisions. That sorts her out, and as a reward we get a shell, and we get to draw 1 card from our ready pile. So who did we get? This card here. Alright, so another provision and shell. Not the best outcome. We don't have access to any white workers, so we can't build any of these buildings yet. Okay, so we'll grab him. He's going to go there. I should have done that before, but hey, whatever. So now we've got enough space in the top row for the barbarians. So let's just exhaust both of these. We'll get 2 provisions and 2 shells. So that's the end of the action phase. The barge returns to the board, and now we suffer attacks. So we're going to pay 2 provisions, a wood, 2 shells, and we don't have a white worker, so we're going to have to sacrifice a townsfolk card for that one. Let's see. I think losing any townsfolk cards that give us workers is not ideal, to say the least. So that's it for suffering attacks. Now we refresh. So we're going to bump that one down. All right, we add 2 more barbarians. 1 and 2, and we only get 1 townsfolk card here. Okay, so I've refreshed the card row. Now we're back at the top of the round for another harvest. Let's get our 4 cards. Okay, so we've got access to a blue and a yellow, and even some wood there. We might be able to tuck another card this round. So considering tucking the black or the yellow worker, we'll see what happens. Okay, so now we get 2 white workers, 2 shells, 2 provisions, and we get a worker of our choice, except for white. I think we'll grab a yellow. Okay, so we've got a yellow worker from this farm here. We've done all the rest of our harvest, and now we're back to the actions phase. So I think if we can focus on these 2, actually, that would be good, because they both allow us to draw extra cards as a reward. So we're going to exhaust this card for a yellow. Then we're going to spend a white worker and a provision to do this action here, and we're going to get a black. Now we've got the 2 yellow and black and 1 provision. That deals with her. As a reward, we're going to get a shell, and we get to draw 1 card from our ready pile. Let's see what it is. We have access to another blue. That couldn't be better. Now we've got 2 blue, and we could trade up to deal with him or her as well. So we could discard him for a white worker. That would give us enough resources to build either another farm or a hut. I don't think we're going to worry about the provision farm any longer. Maybe the hut is the way to go. Sadly, we don't have any cards that we can tuck for more workers. Okay, I think we're going to go for her because the extra shells aren't really going to do us much good. Yeah, I think more cards in hand would be better. Hopefully we get something that gives us more workers. So we're going to discard both of these actually. So we're going to get 2 blue workers, a wood, and we get to draw a card. 2 blue workers, a wood, and we get to draw a card. Okay, that's not bad. Another wood and maybe a black worker. I mean, we could discard her. That'll give us a black, and then we've got the stuff to build either a hut or a outpost. I think the hut is the way to go. So yeah, we're going to discard her for a wood and a black. Okay, we're going to use the 2 blue and a black to sort her out. So that's the workers, 2 more provisions there, and that sorts her out. So we get to draw 1 card from the townsfolk pile over here. Hopefully it's good. Okay, not mad. More workers. Unfortunately, no worker at the bottom. Workers at the bottom would have been a lot better. So now we're going to trade 3 shells for a clay. Then we're going to spend 3 clay and a wood and 1 white worker to build this hut. Now we've only got these 2 spots left. They both give us provisions, so we'll just chuck them there. And that's going to give us that provision. And now we get, oh great, another provision. All right, so that's that. We might actually be able to deal with 1 more barbarian this round. Okay, so discarding him for a white and a red. We're also going to discard this guy with the chicken. Love this card. Now when we do that, we only get the resource in the brown box, so that means we only get a white worker. Now we're going to do this twice, so that's 2 white workers and 2 provisions, and we're going to take 2 black. So the 2 black plus this 1 red here, that will have the cost for him, but we need 1 more provision, so 2 shells will give us a provision, and that's the 2 black, 1 red, and 3 provisions, and that sorts him out. Okay, so now we get a shell, and we get to draw 1 card from our ready pile. Please be good. Okay, so still nothing with workers at the bottom. Unfortunate. All right, but hey, it gives us a black worker, so we're going to exhaust him and put the black worker there. And with that, we will grab a blue. And for these 2, I mean, maybe I should tuck 1. No, I'm not going to tuck him. I'm going to hold off for 1 more round, and hopefully we get something with a worker at the bottom. So we're just going to exhaust both of these, and that gives us 2 provisions and a shell. Okay, and he's going to go there because he's left over. Beautiful. All right, so that's the end of the action phase. Now we need to suffer attacks. Okay, so 1 wood for him. Now we don't have any clay and we don't have 2 shells, so that means we're going to have to lose 2 cards from our townsfolk ready pile. So 1, 2, and let's see who we've lost. Oh, that's a pity. Blue worker at the bottom. Would have been really handy next round. Oh well. See you guys. Thank you. So he comes down there because we only need space for 2 more raiders. So 1 and 2. And now we've got space for 2 townsfolk cards. So that's the top row refreshed. Now we're back at the top of the round for another harvest. We get these 2 back and we get 4 cards. So 1, quick shuffle, 2, 3, and 4. Because we shuffled, this moves down. Okay, I'm just going to sort everything else out first. So we get 2 white workers, 2 provisions, 2 shells. Okay, we've still got this farm to grab, but let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, awesome. So we could tuck for a red or a black, or we could discard them for a black or a yellow, and we've got some access to more provisions and shells and things. So with that in mind, so we've got a black and a blue. For this farm, we're going to get another blue. We need to sort out 2 barbarians. I think we can do it. We've got enough here for 1 already, so that's 2 provisions. And then we could trade 2 white, and that'll give us maybe the 2 red. And then we just need to find a blue, and we could get a blue by doing that. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with that one. So 2 blue and a black, 2 provisions. That sorts him out, and we get 3 shells. Now, do we want to tuck for the black or the red? We'll see. Okay, so we're going to trade 2 white workers and 2 provisions, and we're going to grab 2 red. I think we're going to risk it, and we're just going to see what happens. So we're going to tuck the one for the black worker going forward. We're also going to exhaust this card. That gives us a black worker, which we can place here. And now we can grab a blue. So now we've got the 2 red and a blue and 1 provision. And that gives us this guy sorted. So 2 shells and a clay. Now we need to deal with the bribes. So we've got 1 clay there. We can spend 3 for another clay. That sorts them out. We could discard that card for the blue, and that will sort him out. I think we will do that. So we're going to trade 3 shells for another clay. Now we're going to discard this card for the blue worker, and that's the end of the action phase. You know what, we're also going to spend 2 shells for a provision so that we can recruit this guy and add him to our exhausted pile. Now that's it for the action phase. So now we need to suffer attacks. So 2 clay and a blue worker. That bribes these 3. Now we're going to refresh and bump them down. Oh, they need to bump down 2 times. So 1 and 2. Okay, more red. I forgot I should have exhausted these earlier too. So 2 provisions and 2 shells. Okay, so that's the refresh. Now we're back at the top of the round with another harvest. 2, 3, and 4. So we get him back. Now we get our 2 white workers, 2 provisions, 2 shells. We also get a black worker. And we still get a worker of any color. Let's have a look at what we've got. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's not going to be very useful at all, to be honest. What do we have at the bottom? Wow. Looks like we've discarded all of the townsfolk that give us workers at the bottom of the card. Not a very good hand at all. Okay, so let's just sort this out. 2 white, 2 black, 4 provisions, and 7 shells, and we've got the 1 wood there. Can it be done? Not really sure, to be honest. We also have to build this canal this time because our pile is empty, and I'm pretty sure that means we're going to have to, need space for 3 barbarians, and that means we need to fight at least 2 more barbarians. So now we could discard these 2. I'd have to pay a provision, but that would give us a red and a white. That would bump us up to 3 white, 2 black, and a red. But then we don't have the resources for the canal. I think I need to sort the canal out first in order for us to continue at all. So let's deal with that. 1 provision, I'm going to discard him. Gives us a white worker. So now we've got 3 white workers and we'll pay 2 shells. That lets us build this canal. Now, when we build this canal, we get a clay and a wood, but we have to sacrifice 2 cards. So that's a clay, that's a wood, and we shuffle. Wow. There is only 4 cards left in this draw pile, so the end is very close. I'll just move that over there. That's our draw pile, and these are the 2 we're losing. Not good. Not good at all. Thank you very much. And because we shuffled, the flood token moves down again. But hey, we survive 1 more round, I guess. So we're going to exhaust this card for a black. The black is going to go here. That's going to give us a yellow. Now we've got 2 black and a yellow and the 2 provisions, and that will deal with him. As a reward, we get 2 shells and a clay. And I think that's us. Oh, okay, so we've got access to this now. Essentially, we're going to have to exhaust all 3 of these. That's going to give us 3 provisions and 2 shells. Now, we're going to have to discard her to get the red worker. Now, we can pay 4 shells for a white. So we're going to do 8 shells for 2 whites. But now we're going to spend 2 provisions and the 2 whites that we just got to get a red and a yellow. Okay, so 2 red and a yellow, 1 provision. That gives us 3 shells. Okay, so that's going to be it for the actions, I think. Now we need to sort out our suffering attacks. So 2 clay, 2 white shells, and we're going to have to lose a townsfolk card. So 1, 2, that's for them two. 2 shells for that guy, and we lose one of these. See you later, mate. Thank you. Okay, so that's all the attacks suffered. So now we're going to refresh. Sorry, I forgot to get rid of him, didn't I? But I think I already got the shells. Okay, so now we're going to refresh. We need to bump these down 3 times. Okay, so that's all the barbarian cards used in this playthrough. Pretty cool. Okay, so this is going to return here, back at the top of another round with a harvest. Now we've run out of cards in our draw pile, which means we have to shuffle, and because we've shuffled, the flood token has reached an unbuilt section of the canal, and it's another defeat. Oh, this game is tough. Alright, so it's time to read another card from the defeats. We're just going to put all these victory cards at the bottom of the deck, and we'll have a look at this one and see what happens. So, we lost because the flood token reached an unbuilt section of the canal. So we are going to get story time number 39. Generous Tushan-shi, I cannot fathom the depths of loneliness that must threaten to swallow you like the floods that consume all that they pass. My absence has been long already, and I see no end in sight. Our work has been successful in many ways, but I have not been able to stall the floods in this region, and must now wait another season to begin work in earnest once more. I will not give up hope, however. I must continue. We have had some men staying with us the last few days. They are journeying home from the capital where they were helping with new construction there. While every hand is normally at work on the canals or managing supplies, perhaps these men will stay a while and help me change things in the village. I have learnt much from my failures and wish to put that to good use around here. I will ask them if they will stay. They do eat a lot of meat, though. Alright, so it says here, file the revealed defeat card in the box under history. Find card 39 in the story deck and file it in the box under other setup cards. This is a skill card. So, this is the back of skill card number 39. I'm not going to show it to you guys yet. If you're interested in seeing what it is, you'll have to tune in for game 3, I guess, and I can show you what this little thing says. I've read the rules on it, and it looks really interesting. I think it's really going to have an impact, at least for me, on the game loop so far, because right now I'm really struggling with this game. I'm really enjoying it, but it is very difficult. Alright, so 2 defeats back to back, but hey, not mad about it, had a lot of fun. Hopefully this little secret right here is going to make things a bit easier for us going forward. And we still, I totally forgot about this, but we still need to worry about our food stall as well. So for this game we were definitely a long way away from victory, but that's alright, it was a lot of fun playing. Alright everybody, that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next installment of this Legacy of You campaign.